excited that I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker for the evening, Dr. Sue Bath. Since joining Gallup in 1989, Dr. Bath has been involved in management, consulting, and research related to talent-based selection and development, strengths-based coaching, performance management, employee engagement, and maximizing the potential of human capital. She is passionate about coaching individuals to enhance their effectiveness. Dr. Bath is certified as both an ICF ACC coach and Gallup Strengths coach. She received her bachelor's in speech communication and master's in educational psychology from UNL and EDD in educational leadership from USC, dissertation on the effects of mentoring in the workplace. Sue enjoys spending time at the lake with her husband and 2 adult daughters and helping others learn to paint and selling her contemporary art through her small business, Serendipity Abstracts. Let's welcome Dr. Sue Bath.
Thank you, Brenda. That was so nice. Thanks. I'm so glad to be here. This is super fun. I get to work with Todd on the Fremont Creative Collective board. So I know Todd from that, and I have gotten to work with Brenda a little bit through my good friend Connie Krackemeyer, who used to be there at Midland. And so it's a treat for me to be with you all. I do want to just tell you for the next 20 minutes, we're going to really dig into the power of the Clifton strengths, and specifically how to name what your strengths are, how to really claim what they are, and then aim them at something, right? Aim them. But really the most important thing that I think you can do is strive to thrive with your strengths and just really be at your best, your most authentic self that you can be, and just be the best, out of anybody else in the world. You can be the best at whatever you are talented enough to do, right? You can be the best in the world at it. So I do have a question for all of you. So raise your hand, use the little button there with your reactions, if you have gone through the Clifton StrengthsFinder assessment. Okay, it looks like pretty much everybody then. Okay. Todd, you've been through it.
Yes, right? I have, but I can't find the button.
Okay. All right. So everybody's been through it, it seems like. Okay. Now, my second question is this. Raise your hand if you've had some coaching around your strengths or taken a class that really digs into the Clifton StrengthsFinder and what it means, things like that. Okay, so a couple. William, did you raise your hand on that one?
I put my hand down on that one.
Okay. All right. So we have a couple of people.
Strengths, yeah.
Okay, you've taken it. So so it looks like we have some people who are pretty well versed in the StrengthsFinder, but then a couple of people who, hey, we've got some things to really learn a little bit more about. And so let's all buckle up and just dive right into it. So let's start by talking a little bit. I don't want to be self-absorbed here or anything, but I like to tell people what my top 5 strengths are, just as an example. I'm a maximizer, and that's my greatest strength. I am someone who likes to take something that's good and make it great. Just take it to the nth degree. My husband always says, when we have people over for appetizers and a drink, right, at our home, I make 10 appetizers instead of 1 appetizer, and it drives him crazy. But I always want something to be the best, and it really strive for that. So kind of a funny example of it, but that's me. Individualization, I really have a talent for keying in on what makes people tick and adapting to what they need. Activator, I am impatient. I have to get things going. If somebody says a great idea or something that's really fun, I'm like, let's do it. Let's plan it. Let's go. Belief, I have some kind of, black and white kind of beliefs in our value systems of honesty, integrity, things like that I stand true to. And then input is really about studying, research, books. I collect all that stuff and I file it away in my brain. And I also have 30,000 pictures on my phone too, which is bad. So I collect a lot of things, but mostly information. So that's just a little bit about me and who I am. I was fortunate enough to be a part of Don Clifton's research around the Clifton Strengths Assessment way back in 1999. And that was such an honor for me. And that makes me feel kind of old. I've been at Gallup for 34 years. But, it started as his mission to really make a contribution to human development. And he posed a really simple question, right? What would happen if we studied what was right with people instead of studying what was wrong with people? Because in psychology, up until that point, it was like, hey, what's wrong with you? We can make you better. We can make you better. And that was really hard, right? Why don't we just study what's right with people? And then we can help them to be more of what they're already naturally inclined to do well. So, his work led him to invent, of course, the Clifton StrengthsFinder assessment. And, one thing he told me one time when I was working with him, he said, Sue, I think the StrengthsFinder assessment could really bring world peace. That's my vision. And I still believe that to this day, that if people know what they do well and can use the StrengthsFinder assessment as a language to really talk about what they can do to partner together using their strengths, that creates a better understanding. And we can get through things in a very positive way. So I love that vision and mission that he had. And we're carrying on. Now we've had 29,933 and 600, let's see, 29,933, 615 to be exact. We have a running total every day of how many StrengthsFinders have been completed. So that's where we're at right now. So just kind of a little background there, but I think what we really want to strive for always is thriving, because that's it makes you an exceptional person, right? It's your ultimate goal. When you find what you do best, it's just kind of dreamy, right? It's a dream world. It sounds dreamy, right? But it's possible. I think, what we've researched over the years since that 1999, that you have to know what you do best first, right? That's the beginning point. And then you have to apply and develop what you do well. I mean, that takes you can't just let it sit there and just know about it. That doesn't do any good. You have to talk about it to other people. You have to research it. You have to put yourself in positions where you can use that knowledge that you have about what you do best. And then, finally take the actions every single day of your life to make sure that you are just feeding that talent, to make sure that it becomes a strength. Because it's just a talent in the beginning. It's that theme of talent. But to make sure it's a near perfect performance of a strength, that's a whole different story too. So that's how we thrive. That's how we thrive. So I think we should ask ourselves 4 compelling questions. The The first one is, how do I pinpoint what I do best? You may have gotten some recognition in your life for something, right? You may have been recognized, whether it be for you were in speech, maybe you were in a speech contest, or maybe you were good at football or cheerleading or whatever it may be, right? That's a clue. It's a clue to what you do well. It could be big or small recognition, right? But that gives you a clue. What do I do best at? Ask people close to you. What do I do best? What do you like about me? That's a clue. What gets you out of bed every day? What's just effortless to you? What do you do that just when you're in it, you lose track of all time, right? I think the second part is, ask a question such as, how can I use my talents to accomplish what is most important to me? So this is really about choosing activities, jobs where you can use your talents every day and hone in on them. So it also could mean setting goals around your talents. It could mean borrowing other people's talents, ones that you don't have, so it frees you up, maybe in a situation, to use your own talents. Maybe you don't have all the talents to accomplish a goal, but you could use somebody else's to help you out, so you don't have to go there. You can just focus on what you do well. That's another way you could do that. Another question, what unique contributions can I make? Well, I think it's, once again, talking to others about your strengths. I think the Clifton Strengths Finder is that language you can use always to get to know other people and to get to know, what is my unique contribution? Where's a gap that might be able to be filled with my uniqueness? And where can I best make that impact? Finally, what actions can I take to build upon what I already do well? This is the thriving part, right? This is where you come into strengths. A talent becomes a strength. And then where can I thrive with it? So look for your role models, right? People that are doing the things you really like to do, and they're the best at it. Look for role models, mentors, and strive to be more like them. Strive to be better than them. I think push yourself to just be that one step above what you're already doing well at, and just strive for the ultimate recognition, right? I think we've got a little exercise here next. This is also one where I want you to use your reactions of raising your hand. So I've got to get over here so I can see how many people are raising their hands in the view. Okay, there we go. All right, so I want you to raise your hand if you almost always talk to people in elevators, airplanes, in stores, and I'm covered up here. Oh, and wherever you go. So raise your hand. Oh, so we've got Brenda, and we have Chris. We have Chris too. Brenda and Chris. Okay. Now the next one, we have another one, and that one. Okay, come on. Why is it not going? Go to the next one. Okay, here we go. Raise your hand if you almost always are someone that have color-coded or otherwise an organized closet. Anybody have that? I don't either. So that's a big fat 0 on that one. Okay, nobody that's that organized. Okay, the next one. is raise your hand if you almost always write down a list of things to do on the weekend and stick to it. Ooh, we have Brenda and William there. Okay. Just doing my own little research here, writing them down. Okay. Okay, here's the next one. Raise your hand if you almost always need to pick someone to race while driving. This is my husband. Oh, Brenda and Chris too. Okay.
I'm trying to get it.
Oh, William too. Oh, this is the biggest one we've had. I love it. Okay, Brenda, Chris, and William. All right. Now the next one. Raise your hand if you almost always figure out the plot of a movie before anyone else does. Oh, we have Brenda, Chris, and Todd. All right, that's good. So we have a tie we have two of them that are a tie. Okay, and then the next one, raise your hand if you almost always push the button to remind the elevator that you are there. I've got to raise my hand right here. That's me too. So we have Chris, Eleanor, William, and me. So, okay, that's the winner so far. Okay, so put your hands down and we'll go to the next one. Oh, wait, that was the last one. Okay. All right, so that was kind of fun, wasn't it? It's like, oh, I am that type of a person. So as you can see, we all have instinctive ways of behaving, right? We're all different, and those are just naturally things that we do, right? We can't help but do them, right? I'm pushing that elevator button as fast as I can, right? And just always, I've already pushed it a million times. So I think it's just something that's inside of us. We can't help but do it, right? And then people are different and contribute in very diverse ways, right? We learned this from this exercise that not all of you raised your hand for each thing, did you? No, we're all very, very different in the way we do things. And we actually need each other, don't we? To come together as a team. It'd be pretty boring if we were all the same, and it just probably wouldn't get along that well either. Everyone's trying to do the same thing. And then, when you know your talents, you feel empowered. You really do. You feel like, wow, I can just do my best every day, and you want to do more of it. Life is just more fun, right? Life is just more fun when you're using your talents, I think. So everyone has talent. Every single person has talent. And I think that, the perspective really changes when you think about everyone does have, because sometimes we think, oh, they're a loser. People will say that. Oh, they're a loser. Well, not really. No, they're not a loser, because everyone has a talent. And the Clifton Strengths Finder helps us to identify that. So a talent is that naturally recurring pattern of thought, feeling, or behavior that can be productively applied. And just to kind of give you some examples of that and what we just went through with the exercise, right? Starting a conversation with someone you haven't met before, that was on there. Thinking in an orderly or timely manner, that was another one. Taking satisfaction, being busy and productive. Consistently aspiring to be the best, seeing patterns in data, wanting to know things now rather than simply talking about them. So those are all just natural things that we do. But when you do them a lot and you hone in on them and you practice them and you really, claim them, and then you're aiming them, they start to become a strength, right? That's that ability to deliver a consistent, nearly perfect performance in a specific task. And that's when the magic happens. That's when you can just soar and soar and soar, when you find more and more opportunities to apply your strength. So I don't know if you've guessed which strengths go with each of these examples of talent, but the first one, starting a conversation with someone you haven't met before. Anybody want to guess what that one is? What strength it is?
Woo.
Yes, you got it. That's correct. How about for the next one? Thinking in an orderly or timely manner. Which one's that? Any guesses? Just take yourself off mute and shout it out.
Analytical?
Actually, it is discipline. That is discipline. So yeah, I mean, it does sound kind of like an analytical way, because we do think kind of orderly, analytical, but discipline is really that way of, organizing a closet all with the same, colors all in line, or just in an organizational sort of system, and being very timely and exact. How about this next one? Taking satisfaction in being busy and productive. What about that one? What's the strength that matches up there?
Achiever.
Yep, that's correct. And then consistently aspiring to be the best. This was a popular one.
Is that maximizer?
Close.
Oh.
Competition.
Yes, yes. It does sound like maximizer, because that's a part of being a maximizer is I want to be the best. I want this to be the best, but aspiring to be the best, like number one in that example of racing someone in the car, that would be competition. Seeing patterns in data.
Would that one be analytical?
You got it. There you go. That's it. Wanting to do things now rather than simply talking about them. I'll give you a clue. I have this strength.
Activator.
Yes, that's correct. That is absolutely correct. Okay, so next, this is just the all 34. You all know your strengths, so you're familiar with the all 34. So I think we can kind of blow past those. I think, you are familiar also with how to navigate the report, which, you want to strengthen your top 10. You really like to look at your top 5 strengths but then, we really have found value in our research from really looking at your top 10 too. Over time, sometimes some of those 6 through 10 could kind of work their way up into the top 5. They're very close. So I think study your top 10 and, do some activities, put yourself in positions where you can strengthen them. And then you're going to navigate the rest. So some of these middle ones, try to stay away from them, right? As much as you can. They could kind of run you out of energy, right? They might zap you. You could maybe do it for a little bit of time, some activities that are related to them, but over time it'd be like, oh, this is just making me tired. And then manage those blind spots in areas of lesser talent. So, you might partner with someone else who has that strength that you don't have. So you don't even have to do that activity or job. You might even think about one of your strengths that you have in your top 10 in a different way to accomplish whatever that task is. Maybe in a different way, you could think about it. But overall, just try to not put yourself in situations where you would have to use something in your lower quadrant there. Okay. So here's a little video I'd like you all to watch. Can you hear it? Can you all hear it?
I'm not hearing it.
You're not?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. You can.
The controls, and there's a button that says play computer audio.
Oh, okay. So I would just back up.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's a.
Oh, maybe you have control over that.
I don't think I can do it.
Oh. This is probably something I should have tested out before today. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. Yeah, I think the only way you can do it is to unshare it and then reshare it. But when you reshare it, you have to click the button at the bottom that says play computer audio.
Okay, so put it up on the screen again.
Yeah, like unshare.
Okay.
And then
do that.
Share again.
Okay. Okay, can you see it? Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Okay.
Do you see the button that says computer audio?
Oh, do I turn that button on before I put it up on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, let me find that. Computer audio. I don't see that button. I'm sorry, Todd.
That's all right. So you're in the share screen dialog box?
I am.
And then along the bottom, there's nothing?
Share screen. I'm clicking on it.
Like the very
Oh, share sound, right?
There we go. There we go.
There we go. I got it. Okay, thank you. All right, here we go. All right, let's hope it works. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Can you hear it now?
Yep.
Is zillion a real number? No, zillion's not a real number, but it is a word you might be tempted to use to describe all of the talents found in people. Creating a list of every talent is an impossible task. But if you step back, you'll see that talents have commonalities that allow us to group them into themes. Some talents, like a natural ability to share thoughts, create engaging stories, and find the perfect word, relate directly to communication. That's what they have in common, a shared theme based on communication. So to begin thinking and talking about them, we can call them communication talents. Your distinct Clifton Strengths 34 profile sets you apart from everyone else. Your Clifton Strengths 34 profile is your talent DNA in rank order based on your responses to the Clifton Strengths assessment. The Clifton Strengths at the top of your profile are the most powerful. Similar to your fingerprint, these themes represent how you are uniquely talented. There are nearly 34 million possible combinations of top 5 themes. You heard right, nearly 34 million. Start with your top 5. Develop these Clifton Strengths to make the most of your profile and maximize your potential. Your greatest chance to succeed at work or anywhere else lies in strengthening what you naturally do best and doing more of it. Try this. First, name it. Carefully read the descriptions of each of your top 5 Clifton Strengths themes and identify parts of the theme descriptions that are undeniably you. Try to describe a recent situation when you used each theme. Next, claim it. Reflect on who you are. Think about your experiences, your motivations, how you see yourself. Then, consider how your strongest Clifton strengths shape you, what you do, how you do it, and why. Share your report with people close to you. Ask for their reaction. Then, aim it. Post your top 5 themes from page 22 of your Clifton Strengths 34 report in a place where you'll see them every day. Start with the suggestions for action in the report. Then, try to find more ways to use your strongest Clifton strengths in your daily activities. Your talents are an instinctive source of wisdom and power. And as you start to intentionally use your most dominant Clifton Strengths themes, you'll find ways to build on your greatest areas of potential. You have dynamic talents, just waiting to be unlocked and developed. Use your report to name, claim, and aim your most dominant Clifton Strengths themes.
Okay. So I hope you all heard that. So I think a really important piece of what we just heard, of course, is, what are the odds of someone having the same first 5 themes in the same order as you? I think that's just an like startling statistic, isn't it? 1 in 33 million that your top 5 themes make you as unique as your signature, right? That's why we call them the signature themes, in fact. So that's just something to I always think about it. I actually have a friend that we have the top 4 the same, which I think is amazing, but in a different order. And, before even the Strengths Finder came out, because I've known her, she's worked at Gallup as long as I have, they came out and they were, 4 the same. We were very good friends. We've always been very good friends. And we're like, oh, not surprising that, we have a lot of the same, but certainly not in the same order. And as we talk through them, we use them in very different ways too. So that's really important to remember. A little Gallup research here. People who know and use their strengths every day are 3 times more likely to report having an excellent quality of life. Wow, that means their well-being is probably higher. They're happier day to day. Maybe even it could bring them out of depression, or could prevent that. Who knows? I mean, more than ever, people need to know what their strengths are and keep moving forward with them. And then 6 times more likely to be engaged in their jobs. I mean, that's 6 times. I mean, that's amazing. Once again, in this environment that we're living in today, people really need to know who they are, what they do well, and it can really improve, I think, the retention of people, keep people there, and keep people productive, happy, and just thriving in their workplace too. So talent, that natural way of thinking, feeling, and behaving, times that investment spent practicing, developing skills, and building that knowledge base really will yield that strength, right? It takes work, though. It takes that work to be able to deliver that consistent, near perfect performance in that specific task. So I think, you have to, like I said, you have to work at it, and you can't just let it yeah, great report, but what are you going to do with your strengths, those talents, and to make them into a strength? So invest in your strongest Clifton strengths. So here's some things that I'd like you to think about to invest in your strengths, in your talents, and make them into strengths. So I want you to study your successes. What's a recent success that you've had? It could be big or small. It doesn't have to be a big award. It could just be somebody told you that you were really kind, or thank you for listening to me. That can tie back to a theme of talent that you have. Number 2, find more ways to apply your talents. So put yourself in those situations where you can shine, where you can just shine and learn and grow in those talents to really polish the pearl and make them into a strength. Acquire the new skills and knowledge that you need to really claim your talent that you have. I think share your Clifton strengths report with those who love and care about you, your family, your friends, your people that are in your, might be a professor, it might be a pastor, whoever you think can give you some good feedback about who you are and what they see in you. And then, finally, find ways to build upon and maximize your strength success to be your best every single day. So once again, I can't reiterate this enough. Be the leader, be the mentor, be the one that is the role model. Take things just a step further than you ever thought possible. Take that risk, be the best, be creative, and just be the best in your field too. So I have a challenge for you as I close things up today, to think about one important task you need to accomplish in your life. And then I want you to think about, how do I name, claim, aim, and then strive to thrive with one of your strengths to that task? How would you do it? And I think you'll see some amazing things happen when you do that. So that's my challenge to you. And I don't know if we're out of time or not, but if we're not, I'm happy to take any questions.
Very useful. Can you talk for just a second on, so if somebody's looking for new employment, they're ready to make a change, how can they leverage their strengths in the job search, either directly, in trying to decipher what is the right work for me, but also how do I use my strengths in the job search process?
I think great question. I love this question. Number one, I always tell people to put it on your resume. There's something right there. Put your strengths on your resume. I think it's becoming more and more common to see it. And then it's something that when people look at your resume, they'll be like, oh, I see that you have, these are your strengths. Oh, I know my strengths too. It's something they can discuss. It's becoming more of a language. I do think when you look at a job description that's out there on Indeed or whatever it may be, you can really take your strengths and really kind of dissect that job description and say, wow, these are the things that I would have to do in this role. Do they match up with my strengths and who I am? And would they provide me a chance, those activities or tasks, would they provide me with a chance to thrive and be who I really want to be, and help me to succeed at life and be happy. You know, it just gives you that extra, I think it kind of it does the research for you, right? It's like, oh, wow, I already know who I am. Now let's match it up with what they want. So I think that's the way to do it.
Great, thank you.
Sure, thank you. Anything else? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.